first dreamt of football, playing as a right-wing defender in the children's team of the Lviv Karpaty. Due to a broken arm, he decided to drop out of football. After that, his friend Yuriy persuaded him to try playing billiards. At first, he didn't consider it a serious sport, but things turned out quite differently. In 2016, 7 years after he began playing billiards, he became the champion of Europe. In today's program, you will watch this story about Vitaliy Patsura, one of the strongest billiard players of Europe. Zodiac sign: Gemini. Favorite color: red. Eye color: green. Favorite season: summer. Favorite animal: raccoon. Favorite movie: Harry Potter. Vitaliy's favorite movie character, Harry Potter, had a magic wand, while Vitaliy has a magic cue that helps him perform miracles on the pool table. Vitaliy's hour of triumph was at the 2016 European Championship in Austria. He became the youngest winner in the history of the competitions. I participated in the 2016 European Championship among adults in pool. It was the greatest and most important title. Today the name Vitaliy Patsura is quite well recognized all throughout the European continent. In fact, the tournament not only made the Ukrainian pool player famous, but also put him into a psychological hole. As a champion, Patsura could not win for a long time. He understood that he was expected to win, and this was a great hindrance for him. Before an important game, I was asked why I'm bothering playing here, because I was considered the strongest pool player. This totally destroyed me mentally. I've recently learned to deal with such psychological hardships, and I understood that when you hear such words, you slowly begin to relax, and then I lose a game, as I was too relaxed. So this sport requires concentration and does not give you a moment to relax.
И все, и тебя потом в игре наказывают за расслабление. Расслабляться в этом виде спорта вообще нельзя.
Sports billiards finishes with the last ball sunk in the pocket. If you believe in success and you're relaxed, your rival can take advantage of your mistakes. A pool player should learn from the mistakes of his rivals. Vitaliy learned from both his mistakes and those of his rivals.
Только расслабился, все.
As soon as you relax, you will fail. When I was a child, I often made such mistakes. Sometimes I lost with a score of 6-5. No matter what you might think, this sport is specific and requires that the player focuses on the very last ball that should be sunk in the pocket.
Держать концентрацию до последнего забитого шара.
Vitaliy managed to learn from his mistakes. The head coach of the Ukrainian national team in sports billiards, Viktoria Nahorna, points out that the main feature of her apprentice is concentration, and Patsura tries to be concentrated not only during tournaments, but also during practice. Many very technically skilled sportsmen lack such features as focus on their main goal, concentration and urgency. But Vitaliy has such a gift, so we focus on this ability and we together make our best efforts to develop it to the utmost. And I must admit that this is exactly what helps us win medals in major tournaments. Vitaliy Patsura won his last major title in August 2018 in his performance at the European Championship in Holland, with a victory in the age category of up to the age of 23. After that victory, it appears that his depression ended. I realized that people put high hopes on me, and I was afraid that I might fail, so I set a goal for myself to win. I started the tournament not played quite well, and as I continued to play, I became more confident. I could show a perfect game.
Так себе, честно говоря. И по ходу турнира уже разыгрался, уже даже уверенность начала.
I reached the semi-finals, and then things went much easier because I started winning one medal after another.
Потому что уже вышел медали.
Vitaliy Patsura specializes in pool, which is different from English billiards. It's easier to sink the ball in this game than in Russian billiards, but to sink the ball is not a priority. Like in chess, the game should be well calculated and thought over from the very beginning. In pool, it's necessary not only to sink the ball, but also plan your next shot, because the cost of an error can be high. You can break without sinking a ball and then sit down and wait for your opponent's shot. Unlike Russian billiards, in American pool it's easy to sink a ball, but the essence is not as simple. Vitaliy started playing billiards quite late. When he was 11, his friend invited him to join a training session. He had no wish to go there, but he decided to accompany his friend. Being an 11-year-old boy, I was afraid to appear at the training session. My friend forced me. I really liked it and started to practice. I started with an hour a day, and finally I became fully engaged in the sport of billiards.
И я начал тренироваться.
When a child begins to truly become interested and seriously engaging in any form of sport, his or her coach feels a sense of pride. Then their hard work brings pleasure and begins to produce high results. When parents bring children and ask about their talents, I can tell them about conditioning skills, differentiation of muscular efforts, and so on. But honestly, when children's eyes are burning, when they're ready to go all out, when they train hard and they'll listen to the instructions of their coach, then they will become a future champion. The true passion for billiards came to Vitaliy Patsura after the first practices. It was only then that he was ready to attend training and hone his skills day and night. I started to live in a pool hall. I showed up there at noon or sometimes after my school lessons at 3 or 4 p.m. and left for home only at 10 or 11 p.m. For my dedication to this sport, I was given the nickname the Son of Billiards. The Son of Billiards failed in his first contest. He remembers how he wanted to surprise everyone at the Cup of Lviv. Before the tournament, he was focused on victory, but did not get enough sleep. Then I failed to reach the top 8. I was very nervous about this. I did not sleep that night, and in the morning I showed up at the tournament, but I didn't enter the top 8 of Lviv.
Top 8 Львова.
Vitaly's coach helped him in dealing with his insomnia. If you want to beat your rivals, you should not only prepare for billiard matches, not maintaining a daily routine, I could not fall asleep until 2 to 3 a.m. before contests. And before serious contests, I tried to deal with my insomnia. Since midnight, I was in bed, but to no avail.
Потому что я привык уже не спать. Я с 12 лежу в кровати и не могу уснуть.
I even got angry, and I realized that it was a huge mistake on my part.
Потом я понял, что это ошибка.
My coach explained to me how to deal with this problem, and then I began to go to bed and fall asleep on time. Then Vitaly's coach finally saw him as a very promising billiards player, so he wanted to see him at the billiards table practicing as often as possible. I don't like to get up early, but my coach told me to come and open the billiard room at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, and I immediately began practicing. Then my coach appeared at noon, and then I went home to relax, so that I could come back to the pool hall later in the evening to continue practicing.
Он приходил где-то в 12 в час, я шел домой.
From that moment, almost 10 years have passed. Vitaliy moved from Lviv to Kiev to study. He changed his coach, but his desire to be fully engaged in his favorite sport still remained.
Есть упражнения, где им нужно какой-то максимум сделать без промаха.
There's an exercise to sink as many balls as possible without error. It's very difficult to sink balls that are lined up in a row. As for Vitaliy, he broke the world record of sinking an amazing 434 balls in a row without a mistake. He spent an hour and a half to achieve this record.
Он потратил 1,5 часа на это.
Billiard sports do not require much physical activity, but that depends. Competitions last for 10 hours. It's very difficult to play the whole tournament marathon in one breath without good physical training. Therefore, before competitions, Vitaliy Patsura often runs long distances. His coach insists on such exercises, and the young athlete totally understands the need for this. This is an intellectual sport, because it's necessary to calculate every shot in this game. And this also includes physical loads. I had to play the European Championship from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And without physical training, it would have been unrealistic to become the winner in the European Championship.
И без физической подготовки, наверное, нереально выиграть такой чемпионат Европы.
Following the European triumph, Vitaliy Patsura has plans to conquer the world podiums. His coach knows that if her disciple has a goal, sooner or later he will achieve it. For example, he studies English now, and I have to study with him. He showed the best results in his English group, although he started from scratch. The same approach should be taken when competing in billiards at the international level.
То есть если он ставит цель, и то же самое в бильярде.
Vitaliy participates in many tournaments around the world. He liked Holland, where he won the title of European champion in the age category of up to 23. In December, he plans to travel to the Middle East to participate in the World Billiards Championship in Qatar.
Я бы хотел сейчас выиграть чемпионат мира очень сильно.
My ultimate goal today is to win at the World Championship in Billiards, which will be held this December in Qatar. After my victory in the European Championship, I was selected to the World Men's Championship in Qatar, and now my goal is to win.
Вот, и теперь моя цель, мечта выиграть чемпионат мира.
Vitaliy also dreams of participating in the World Games, to which Billiards was added in 2001. The rating system in this competition includes not only successful appearance in international tournaments, indeed, the number of participations in such competitions should be as high as possible. Every athlete wants to participate in such competitions. Since this sport is not included in the Olympic Games, these competitions are of significant importance for me. But for this, it is absolutely necessary to participate in all tournaments around the world. But I face certain financial issues. So for now, this remains a dream for me.
Финансово это очень сложно на данный момент. И поэтому пока это мечта только.
Participating in tournaments requires financial expenditures for every billiard player. As for the training process, this sport is not particularly costly. In the case of Vitaliy Patsura, there are good benevolent people who are ready to support such talented athletes as Patsura and his endeavors to achieve his goals.
Я когда начинал заниматься, то там были вообще минимальные цены, можно сказать, только за свет.
When I started, there were very low costs. I only had to cover electricity bills. It was very cheap. Initially, I began training an hour a day for a whole year. Then I was allowed to train all day for the same cost, and I never missed an opportunity to train for the whole day.
Я не упускал такой возможности. Я тренировался целыми днями.
Vitaliy's parents were only happy that their son was very engaged in billiards. Being a schoolboy, he always envied his European peers, as they were lucky to have an individual schedule of attending classes. His class teacher was unsatisfied with the fact that he skipped lessons due to his competitions. But when Vitaliy became a famous pool player, she forgave him for his negligence. Today, Patsura is successfully engaged in studies at the Kyiv University of Physical Education and Sport. I conducted research to identify the IQ level of athletes in various sports, which included different forms of billiards. According to them, players that play pool and billiards have the highest IQ level. So my disciples are the smartest, the best, and work their hardest to attain their goals. Those core billiard student players of the Ukrainian national team earn their marks not on a pool table. Their teachers meet these athletes halfway and understand their sport schedules. These are concessions from teachers of such athletes that are also studying. Athletes must pass the rest of the subjects on their own without assistance. Of course, we worry about our students during exams. As a member of the State Examination Board, I also worried as this characterized me as a teacher. I mean that a good teacher should be able to share his or her knowledge with their students to help them properly prepare for exams. Today, Vitaliy Patsura is the best pool player in Ukraine. Beginners follow his example. Vitaliy himself looks up to and follows the techniques of the German pool player Rolf Suquet. This German pool player stands out not only for his original outer appearance, but his play. He constantly plays a stable game. He behaves like a gentleman at the table. I would like to have his character and his manners so that I can behave the way he does. Vitaliy Patsura also dreams of trophies which his German idol owns, and he dreams of being famous not only as the youngest European pool champion, but also for becoming the winner of the World Championships and World Games.